Sometimes it's difficult to find out what is your first memory in terms of architecture, because architecture is connected to everything. So it could be the moment you see somebody dancing, it could be the moment you see a special space, it could be a particular material that you have in your memories to touch when you were a child. The regions where we came from, it's an influence, of course. One of the things that Caesar says is that to be global, you really have to be local. And I understand that feeling. So we always have to put our starting point as a way of starting a project or describing a project. We have these two approaches at the same time. So we are global because, in a way, architecture is global and knowledge is global and there's a lot of influences around. But at the same time, you operate with your own memories, because architecture is very personal. It's about, in the end of the day, it's about you. It's about your feeling. I'm grateful to have time to work. I'm grateful to have time to sketch. I'm grateful to have problems to operate. And of course, I have a very good life, so I'm grateful to have a very good life. But at the same time, I work a lot. I work a lot, I'm always working. So, in one way, this is a profession that you do, because you cannot avoid it. I'm always with a lot of doubts. One of the things that I'm absolutely sure is that you cannot be sure about yourself, because we do projects with doubts. We do projects trying in each problem, trying to find what it is, trying to find new approaches, trying to find relations to the reality. What is important in the project, in a way, as a mental process, it's to forget everything you have already done, come to the kind of a zero in terms of approach to other projects, and then you start every time your project. If you start to have a way of doing a kind of an image or a kind of a strategy to solve projects, it's not an investigation anymore, it's not creative anymore, it's a market, it's a brand. This is not architecture. So architecture is about investigating, and it's about taking advantage of process and projects one by one, working on that specific question and trying to take everything from each one of the questions and really to go deep on that question. So you have to have doubts, and I have a lot of doubts. I've always had a lot of doubts. And there's doubts and a sort of a feeling of a panic of being finished. One day it's going to be like that. And you are always in panic that your moment is arriving. But being an architect is fantastic, because it's so connected to life, and you can connect everything to architecture. You connect people. Probably the most important connection, the most interesting connection is to connect people that you know, people that you remember, people in general, this idea of each person is unique, like every project is unique, so this is something that is very strong. You connect your collaborators, you connect your clients, at the same time you connect everything, but you connect also all the, sculpture, painter, the books that you read, the films that you see, the trips that you make. Everything that you do, you are able to connect it to your activity as an architect. And it's very important to do that. And it's very important to That freedom is very, very important, and it's very rich. So you never get bored. I have ideas because I study. So I study the problems. I analyze the problems, the situations, the necessity of transformation. That it's a starting point of a project, a place, all the possibilities that are involved. So its location, possibilities, the clients, the situation, the legislation. So everything, you put everything on a balance. Because when we talk about inspiration, we talk about something that is not coming, it's not something that's not, it's coming from this knowledge, it's not coming from a kind of idea or a romantic idea of being somewhere. So sometimes you have to be alone to make the synthesis that the project needs. But this could be the difference. Used to be the idea of smoking, but I cannot smoke anymore. And it's very powerful, so we always react to the reality. And the reality is changing, so architecture is changing. Because you react to reality, react to the problems that are actually coming out, or actually in every moment being more important or determinant in a particular case. And what I like to think about our work is that we are really working for the people. So we are trying to establish connection to the people, not only through the possible use that they can make about what we do, but also about their memories. So the idea of sustainability, ecology are central to the world, so are central to the architecture. So and because they became so important in our lives, they also have to be responded in terms of architecture. The problem is normally, in terms of architecture, we are normally talking about sustainability, not by the point of view of architecture, but by the point of view of engineering. So we are always saying about saving energy, this idea of ecological idea of resistance in terms of energy or in terms of performance in terms of the buildings. But it's not the role of architecture. So this is the role of engineering. The role of architecture is a very important role, but it's a message that Europe knows from since ages. It's the resistance of the buildings. We are now starting an intervention in the convent from the 3rd century that have been already everything since then. And we are going to make a slightly intervention, let's say, in terms of quantity of intervention. And we're going to adapt it to new functions. And this resistance is very important. And when we have been designing for specific functions, this is a time that is finished. So now we have to design to create structures that are open to possibilities. And I feel that we have to face this idea that you cannot continually design buildings that are adapted to a function they lose this actuality in 10 years or in 20 years. You have to create structures that they have to resist and last. When it is about select what is important in every reality and add something that could put in value what's already there and bring value to this intervention from what is already there. So this combination of bring and pick value from a reality is the work. It's the work of an architect. It's the work of an intervention. And I think that we have to act the same way. So this has been the historical way of doing. If you imagine, so we start. I'm not going to the Romans and the structure that they've been. But if you pick a normal Gothic convent that have been transformed several times from the Renaissance, from the Baroque moment to the Neoclassic, And have been always added things, and the selection have been through what it could be, in a way, trying to add always value, and trying to select what was best and remove what was not so interesting. Good architecture is good architecture. It's a value in itself. So, good architecture, it's what is clever, and what is clever now, it's sustainable. What is clever now, it's respects the world. What is clever now, have all these values. So, good architecture, it's what is clever now. It's what is clever for our moment. Philosophy. There's one thing that is very important. I was listening the other day, Manuel Aires Mateus. He was talking about his relation with the students. He says the same thing that I say to my students. You have to read. Forget the rest. Just read. So my advice was to read. If it was a course, I would say philosophy. It's what I feel that it's what I would love to go and study now. It's philosophy. And then, what's philosophy? With philosophy you can do whatever you want.